type of plan where you're making everybody's life easier and you're getting dental care to people that probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I probably wouldn't go to the dentist as much if I had to go to the dentist. Welcome back, Mortgage Daddies. We got a special guest today. Our boy Mike from Floss Time. He's been cleaning my teeth for a little over a year now. And the
Yeah.
best part of it, I don't have to leave the office.
Yeah.
If anyone knows me, they know how much I hate leaving the office. I won't go to the doctors. I won't go anywhere. I hate leaving the office. You guys fix that problem for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for having me on. Again, my name is Mike. I'm the president and co-founder of Floss Time. As you know, we make it super easy and convenient to be able to get your teeth cleaned directly on site at your office. And it's just a more convenient way to bring dental care to busy working professionals like yourselves. So
yeah, it's a great service.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I think everybody should do it. I'm waiting for my chiropractor to do it, my doctor.
We've talked about it.
Seriously, I would love
Set
that.
it up.
What made you do that? What was it? Your idea? Was it something you kind of copied from somebody else?
yeah, so I had got into the dental industry in 2018, kind of by accident. My cousin was a recruiter, and at the time he was like, "Hey, I have this really cool job offer selling dental implants." So I sold dental implants for a couple of years. That's how I kind of got the introduction into the industry. And then COVID hit, and unfortunately everyone got laid off at that company. So my cousin again had reached out during that summer of, I think it was 2020, right when that had happened, and said, "Hey, I have another opportunity for you with my now business partner, Dr. Majetto Malecki, who has 3 offices in Boston, Boston Dental." And he said, "Hey, I have an opportunity for you to be able to create a mobile dental unit with me." And so at the time, I had gone through a couple interviews with him. I had spoken with him a couple times, and I had initially had said no because I didn't know if I was the right fit, didn't know if I wanted to stay in the dental industry. And then after that, I kind of just said, you know what, let's just do it. Life's too short. Let's take a little risk. Let's, take a leap of faith here and do it. And so I ended up working at his offices for a couple of years to be able to learn the dental field, right? So everything from clinical to treatment planning to how patients work in the chair and how to communicate with patients. And so we started this, and in 2023, we went live with Floss Time, which is now the mobile dentistry, on-site dentistry unit for Boston and Massachusetts. And that's kind of really how it started for this. And, since then, we've really started to grow quite a bit. We service Milestone Mortgage, which is one of our favorite accounts here, and working with the great culture and people that you guys have here. So it's been something that's we've really just been trying to grow it and continue, because I do think that there is a need for this in the dental industry with working professionals who just don't have the time to be able to get to the dental office. And if you don't prioritize it, you kind of forget about it. And so, it just makes it a lot easier for people to get accessible dental care, which is really our mission, to be able to deliver that.
That's awesome. I think it works out great. So you guys pretty much just focus on making relationships with businesses, get in the door,
Yep.
set up, and then how the employees can set up their schedule.
Yeah, so we basically will work with the HR team. So whoever the HR contact is, we will kind of go through with them and explain what the process is as far as how we bring in the dental equipment, how patients book, every question under the sun we get from them, because they're doing due diligence for their job to make sure that everything is safe for their employees. But we just try to make it a really easy and convenient way to do it. So we work with the companies one-on-one. We come in, we set up our dental equipment. People get their teeth cleaned, just like you both know here, and they're able to go right back to work. And it's just a great way to be able to take care of their dental care without having to inconvenience them, having to wait and drive to an office, wait in line, everything in between for that. So it's really a money saver, but it's also a convenience in addressing oral health care as well. So
if you started back in 2023, and we started with you in 2023, how many clients did you have when you first came into Milestone? Because I know a good friend, Sam, over at CFG Financial, referred you over to us. And I was like, you know what? If Sam says it's a good idea and it makes sense, let's check it out.
Yeah.
And we really did it that first time, and it was a big hit. Everybody loved it.
Sure.
Right? I mean, honestly, if you can get Craig in the seat, me in the seat, you can pull us like. Now, the lady who cleans my teeth and the dentist is going to find out I haven't been there. They're probably wondering why I haven't got my teeth cleaned the last year and a half, but I have. So, I love following you guys on LinkedIn and social media, Facebook. You guys have really grown. I see you guys are at UMass, Boston.
Yep.
Ocean Spray.
Ocean
I think
Spray,
was
yeah.
the
We
recent
were
one.
just right down the street from you at Ocean Spray. So we've really just been trying to focus on just growing the accounts. And to answer your initial question about how many accounts we had at the time, probably 3 to 5 accounts at that time when we had first started with you. So, I always have a lot of respect for companies like this that will give us a chance when you're young, because I feel like when you're trying to get your bearings down, you're trying to get things going, it can be tough. And so I have a lot of respect for those like both of you and everyone that gave us a shot to show what we can do and to be able to be a great company. And that's really what we're shooting for this. So I do think that, in the long term, there'll be a lot more growth that we're looking forward to. So
Yeah, it's awesome watching you guys grow. And, obviously, I'm a big Celtics fan going in champions for the year.
Yep.
Was able to bring my son and enjoy that experience with him. But we also saw Derek White take a little spill.
He did.
Smash his face against the court.
yeah.
You want to take over and let me.
Yeah. No, we so our sister company, Boston Dental, was the one that had fixed Derek White's tooth, and so we got an email from the agent and said, hey, we need a dentist to be able to do this and fix his tooth before the parade. So I think they were in Miami at the time, and so we got that call, and at first we were like, let's do it, let's see. And then we ended up working with his agent one-on-one. And then we were able to kind of facilitate when he was going to show up. So he showed up the Thursday before the parade. We were able to give him a temp tooth, and now we're going to be moving forward with his more permanent dental care over the next couple of months or so. So he'll be with us for a little while, and we are looking to eventually service the entire Celtics organization, including the players and also the employees and staff as well. So we try to just make it a really fun experience, and I think having Derek kind of on our side for this is really kind of helped us and get our name out there.
Paris at the Olympics. I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe this is all Floss time.
Yeah.
It was Boston Dental all projected him in here.
It was funny because I had a business meeting with my partner as well, Dr. Maliki, who is my business partner for Floss Time, and then he also owns Boston Dental as well. And we were sitting there on Saturday watching Derek White on the TV on Team USA. So it was kind of just cool to be able to see,
that's awesome.
like just seeing that he had a nice smile on TV, and we were able to help with that. So I know, it's crazy. Never did we think. I mean, we really did not. We just weren't expecting it, right? Like you just, we thought about it and, this would be a great opportunity, but never did we think that they would proactively reach out to us and say, hey, this is what we're looking for. And we got it done. So I think it's really something that kind of attests to the type of work and the type of dental care that we try to bring to employees and the type of dental care that we have at our offices as well. So
Yeah. Our office loves working with you. Our HR is seamless.
Yeah.
One of the big things for me is time, obviously. So if I can save time going into the dentist and all that, but really what I really did dislike is having to worry about my insurance and things like that. And it was awesome that your back office was able to communicate with our HR team, get all the insurance all squared away. No one, if you had a copay, you already knew you had the copay coming in, pay it right there in the chair, move on. I mean, I think the entire process from walking from my office into the chair, full cleaning, no copays, not having to worry about any insurance. It's like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Total.
And that's what we try to do. We try to keep a low profile when we're on site, and we also try to just make it as easy and, like you said, seamless as possible, because as part of the model of what we're looking to do, you don't want to have employees call their insurance, waste time doing that. That's kind of goes against the point of what we're doing. So we do everything in-house to be able to make it just more convenient. And that's part of the comprehensive care that we're able to bring and deliver to the table for this. So we have fun doing it. We have a separate, billing person that helps us with this. And so we will verify all the insurances. We'll get your copays for that. And it just makes it a lot easier. It makes it easier for everyone, and knowing that that you don't have to worry about any sort of copay coming later. We don't do any billing like that. So it just makes it a lot easier that what you're paying up front, if there is any copay, and how to be able to do the insurance part of it. So we just really enjoy taking care of all of that.
With the in-office stuff, like how far does that go down the line? You guys do the cleanings, but say somebody has a issue or a cavity or whatever it is.
Sure.
is that done in the office as well,
Yeah.
or is that something that gets set up after?
That's a great question. So we will do now as part of our model, when you say the word comprehensive, it's not just, we're not just here to clean teeth
Yeah.
and provide x-rays. We're here to provide an actual comprehensive way of delivering dental care. So we do offer dental cleanings, dental exams, x-rays, teeth whitening, on-site fillings, deep cleanings. We're going to be starting Invisalign scanning soon. So as part of our comprehensive model, we really want to be able to bring that type of dental care to the workplace and not just dental cleaning. So moving forward, starting in 2024, we really started that model of being able to deliver more than just regular dental care, going above and beyond for the employees. And that's where we've seen a lot of success with employees booking and getting utilization, because what happens is we just don't want the employees to get their teeth cleaned once and then they're kind of dead in the water saying, where do I go? What do I do from here? So we try to make it a predictable experience to be able to deliver this to companies who need it and employees who want these types of services. And you look at how the industry, just the industry in general, has changed, right? Like with Uber, and it used to be, okay, now Uber doesn't have any assets or anything, and they're just a middleman of convenience, and that's really kind of what we're going for. You look at other companies that do delivery models like this. Some of them don't own assets, some of them do own assets, but it's just more forward thinking about how to deliver where the industry is going as a whole, as far as the service industry. It could be dental, it could be any type of industry like that. But I do think that a lot of the industry is moving more towards the dental, more towards the mobile part of this. You'll start seeing more, probably at some point, more like car wash pop-ups. You'll start seeing more like the Safe Light, where they come to your house and they fix your windshield. You'll start seeing more of those service.
I've seen a lot of the like fill your gas tank up things on.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to go to the gas station, so you call a company and they come and they fill your car up right at your house.
Yeah.
Or right at your office or whatever, because it's just a convenience.
Yeah.
It's time. Everybody's biggest issue with kids and life and whatever it is that extra hour or two that you could save, and especially with this where it doesn't cost you any
Sure.
more money. I mean, some of those other things you're paying a premium
Sure.
to get that convenience,
Sure.
but with you guys, there's no difference.
Yeah.
It's the same cost.
And that's where we try to just make it as, when we can do that, we just try to make it as easy and convenient as possible, so that there's no having to deal with, just like you mentioned, with having to deal with different types of ways of organizing your schedule. So this is a great way for employees to be able to efficiently take care of their oral health care. And what we've seen is when we go to these companies, we'll ask patients, we'll be like, hey, when's the last time you had a dental cleaning? And a lot of these people who have had dental insurance for a couple of years just have not used their dental insurance. And so, we explain and we say, this is why we do this. You don't have to be ashamed of it. This is why we're doing this program, to help people and be able to just make it easier for accessible dental care. So I think it's something that it definitely is a need at this point for us. We're just going to start to really grow and scale this to the point where, at some point we'd like to be in 10 to 15 states over the next couple of years. And we have started our expansion to New York and to Texas as well. So we'll kind of copy and paste this model and be able to bring this to other cities and other states who need it, especially as far as the accessibility. Boston, there's 1 trillion dental offices in Boston. But again, if people don't have the time, they're not going to go.
Yeah, if you work at a job and it's tough for you to take time
Sure.
off, not a lot of dentist offices are open after
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
Yeah. And that's like that's one of that's spot on. That's where we find that when I was working at the Boston Dental when I was training and doing all this, I was doing front desk, I was doing admin, I was doing answering phone calls and everything in between. And what we really saw is all of the people that were in that area at these companies were looking for only 8 a.m. appointments or 5 p.m. appointments, and they could not book anything else. And so we kind of work that into the model of this to really kind of help support that there is a need for this. And this isn't just like, we're not just a random startup that comes in. Now we know that there is a need for this type of dental care, and those little wins like that and kind of just analyzing it were good ways to help support and show that it really truly is a necessity for something like this. So
You talk about Uber. I just think of Peapod and some of the services that we utilize
Sure.
every single day that just become normal to have your groceries dropped off at
Yeah.
your house. So if anybody's out there watching this and you're a massage therapist, you don't think you can bring your bed or your table over. You guys are bringing in, when I first saw all of this go down, right? So I'm very skeptical. If Sam didn't link us up and tell me, I was like, has he been to your office? He's like, yes, it's good. So I'm like, all right, let's all do this. And it was a little slow at first, right?
Sure.
Like we're like, I don't know if it's the best idea bringing a dentist. But you guys came in, chairs, all the equipment. It literally transformed a room to a dentist. Like I felt like I was walking into the dentist.
Yeah.
Daily. You have to. It's just an amazing process, and I just think now, the entrepreneur goes on, and you're like, why is everybody not doing this? Like, right? Like, Craig needs to go to a chiropractor. Typically,
Probably 6 times a week.
2 or 3 times a week, right? And I'm not saying a chiropractor should be here 2 or 3 times a week.
Sure.
But if you're a chiropractor, a massage therapist, you can book this. I guarantee if somebody called, like Floss time, reached out and said, hey, we have a mobile massage therapist. What's the interest? We send an email out to the company. Every Tuesday or every second Tuesday of the month, we're going to have XYZ massage in here or a chiropractor. I think they're going to get 10 or 12 appointments.
Yeah.
We're a smaller company than Ocean Spray and UMass, obviously, right? I mean, you have 45,
How many
50
days are you
employees.
guys there?
At like a bigger company.
Yeah.
So UMass, we're there every single month for 1 week.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
we are currently working with them to do a longer term plan where there's more of a permanent solution for the students. But right now we're there every single month throughout the year. So it just makes it more fun, more engaging for the students, especially students. I mean, my dad was,
especially students because they're coming from other places too, so they don't even have a dentist
and
around.
and that's the thing, and that's where we service a lot of these international students who come here, and it's already hard for most of us who live in America as it is to navigate the healthcare system. It's extremely tough to be able to understand insurances, to be able to understand what's covered, how to book different types of treatment and such. So with this, it just makes it easier for these international students who we guide them and say, okay, this is what your copay is, this is what the cost is, this is what the procedures are. So we will go through with them and kind of explain it, because we've actually seen students at UMass who have never had a dental cleaning or dental care in their entire life ever. And so that was kind of interesting of how to be able to explain it to them and what the process is, and that you don't have to be scared, and we're here to help. And so it's just an interesting way to do business, especially on the campus of UMass, because you just don't see it as often, right? So you have Harvard and you have some of these other places that do have dental programs on their on site on their campus, but it's not the forefront, and it's not everywhere at every single campus. So, eventually, and that's
amazing business plan.
And my dad used to say, he was like, if you brought this guy, I went to Colby Sawyer College up in New London, New Hampshire. No one's ever heard of it. It's a super small school. But he always said, for haircuts and different types of stuff, like if there was an on-campus dental care or on-campus haircut or anything like that, he was like, I would pay for that for you so that you don't have to wait until December, until Christmas break,
trying to book all your appointments while
until
you're home,
summer. Like, you should be able to use your time off when you want to and how you want to, and not have to be glued to appointments like that. So this is it's just an easier way to get access to dental care. And like I said, I know I keep repeating it, but it truly is. There truly is a need, and the more that we continue to see working with smaller clients, larger clients, everything in between, you start to really figure out, like, hey, this is something that's not just localized to here. This is something that could be a bigger picture, and that's really what we're aiming for.
And it's for everybody, not just professionals who are busy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't even think about that. Like on the campus of the kids
Yeah.
coming into the schools and not even doing
Yeah.
that. It's awesome.
And we're actually working with UMass to get a partnership between their sports teams. So if there's injuries on their sports program, or hockey or baseball or field hockey or anything like that, we're actually going to be working with their teams to be able to provide any emergency dental care that is needed for them to be able to address it. Because again, when you're in those positions, you don't ever think, oh, I'm going to get hit in the face with a baseball today. But when it happens, you're kind of like, what do I do? Do I call 911? Do I call, what do I do, right? So most people don't know what to do with that. And so with this, in rolling this type of program out, it's just going to be a nice, smooth way of being able to address a need like that in a pinch. And I think that's really going to be able to just help the program and strengthen the programs that they have support and the students have support. So it won't be every day, but again, it's there in case. It's like insurance.
Yeah.
You don't. It's there in case you need it, and that's kind of what we are for this.
What were some of the hurdles or like those hard points that you guys had to get over to get this off the ground?
Yeah,
'Cause I can't imagine it's not something I've heard about. I don't know if other companies are doing it, but
Yeah.
anytime you try to do something new, especially with medical stuff, I'm sure there's a lot of compliance issues or
Yeah.
licensing issues that you guys had to figure out.
Yeah, and that's an awesome question. I mean, most of the time, so we do have to have a mobile dental license to do this. So not every dental office can do this. You basically have to go through, get approval from the ADA, get the mobile dental license. That took quite a long time for us to be able to do that. But once we got over that, we really started then kind of building out our systems. And sometimes when you have too much opportunity, it becomes harder to know what direction is the correct and the most efficient direction to go in with this. So for us, having those opportunities was great, but at the same time, it kind of bottlenecks us because you have limited resources, right? So you don't have a full team that can help do your marketing, that can help do your accounts and sales and moving the equipment and insurance, everything for that. So when we first started, we were just bootstrapping this thing, like to the point where we were putting in 15, 16, 17-hour days. And it was really, and still even, we're still doing not as much of that, but still, a lot of days for this. And so you start to realize that's when people say you dedicate your life to being an entrepreneur. Now I really truly understand about how much time goes into it when you're doing it yourself in the beginning and just hustling. And that's
takes
really
a lot of time to get all those things in place.
telling me, man.
It doesn't. It gets easier.
Yeah.
I just have this
But
picture
new obstacles keep
of
coming.
you
Yeah.
like with a couple of people just doing everything, moving all the stuff, cleaning everything up, doing
Yep.
it, billing, marketing, just trying to do
Yeah.
everything, which was what
Us.
we had in the beginning too,
Yeah.
where we were trying to do everything, and then eventually, slowly, you put a person in place for this, you put a person
Yep.
in place for that, but it takes a long time to get all that stuff set up. One, the cost of doing it.
Sure.
Two, you also have to take the time to then go get somebody to do it, train them.
Sure.
And there's only so much time to be able to do it, so that's a struggle that a lot of people face. I mean,
Yeah.
I think if you look at like the construction industry, so many small construction companies struggle with that because they don't know how to grow it. Okay,
Sure.
I can do this, I can side this house myself,
Sure.
but I'm also now going to have to bill, I'm going to have to quote, I'm going to have to do so. You have one or two people trying to do everything, but it's impossible to grow that way.
And that's exactly how we kind of felt in the beginning, because again, you're hustling. That's what it is. It's what it takes to be able to get it up. But it's the smaller tasks that are actually the hardest for me, because it's, you got to call this patient back, you have to follow up and submit this insurance for this person. So there's a lot of other tasks aside from more of the bigger growth initiatives that you're working on, that's where it becomes the complicated part of it, of you only have one person or two people to be able to do this, and that's where you have to try to manage as best you can. And I think some of it you can't get frustrated. Naturally you will, but at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do, and you can just put as much effort into it as you can and do the best you can. And that's what it is, until, just like you said, you get an account executive, or you get someone to do those other tasks that frees you up to help with the growth of the company or whatever position you want to be in for that.
Now, with you guys talked about expanding to other states
Yep.
and everything. Is that more of like a kind of a franchise thing where you reach out to dentist offices out in Texas or wherever and kind of give them the model, give them the blueprint, give them everything, and it's more of a franchise? Or are you guys hiring dentists and starting, from scratch there?
Yeah, great question. So we want to have all of our own internal team to be able to do this. So we would not really go towards the franchise route. We would go, because we think that the level of care, one, you have to have a trusting people that work on your team. And I think when you have trusting people that you trust, and that these are the people that you're going to get the job done with, it just makes everything a lot better, and the dental care is increased, right? Hiring the right dentist, hiring someone who's outgoing for some sort of model like this, right? And so we just try to, at this point, we're going to be trying to hire internally. And so we know, okay, this person is kind of in control of they're a manager of this unit out here in New York, or maybe we have a couple units going. So it's still a work in progress for this, but we are looking to eventually just get our own team, just like what we're doing here at our flagship location in Boston. So I think it's going to be interesting. It'll be an interesting way of trying to find these people, because it's the dental, even though the dental industry, it's all one industry, it's so different in different areas, accessibility and the type of care that you can get delivered. So we just have to make sure that we do our due diligence for all of our patients, that we're hiring the right people that are going to get the job done for us.
Do you find Massachusetts to be one of the tougher ones to get all those licenses in place, or other states that you're starting to look into?
Yeah, I think
You
Massachusetts.
probably picked two of the hardest, New York and Mass.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, locationally, it's nice because it's close,
Yeah.
but I do think that it's state by state. So a lot of it, most of it, we work with the ADA on all of this. So it really just it depends on what their level of confidence is. But now that we have a model that we know works, that we've had success with, no incidents or anything like that, it'll be a little bit easier for us this time around to kind of go and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is what your guidelines were originally for us. We followed them, and here we are. So
anytime there's somebody that disrupts an industry, right? We've all watched the Uber, Netflix, and all of these different companies that really kind of go in. Do you foresee, or do you guys talk about internally in meetings, you know what? I don't know if Burns' dentist is really gonna like Floss time, or Craig's dentist, or the 150 or 300 employees that you're seeing at Ocean Spray or UMass, those dentists that usually see those kids or those employees that work there. Do you see any backlash? Because a lot of dentists, I'm guessing they're not, 25, 27 years old and ready to go and take on the world. They've kind of got set in their ways. They have their book of business, and now they're going to start seeing that as you guys expand. Are you guys already feeling some dentists getting phone calls, or, hey, you know what? It's kind of a weird practice.
I think internally for them, I think they probably feel like that. But I think what we've created so far is really a culture in the dental industry of, hey, this is what our team is, this is what we're doing. And I think a lot of those dentists actually are interested in what we're doing, because I think at some point, we'll be able to help guide other people as far as dental marketing is one thing that we're doing. A lot of these places that we work with and that have not seen their dentist, or people that they haven't seen their dentist in a while, I don't think that their dentist is going out and saying, oh, we're missing this person and this person. But I do think that eventually we will disrupt the industry to the point where it'll be a bigger conversation about who likes us and who doesn't. And if we're not liked, that's fine with me. We stick to the plan every time. You don't make changes to your business based on external things about what other people think or anything like that. You know your business the best, and you stick to the plan. And that's what we've done so far, and it's what's worked so far. So
I like it. I like the change, or figuring out a problem that there is and coming up with a solution. And I like Uber. I mean, Uber's made everybody's life easier.
Yeah,
probably not
true.
the taxi drivers, but
the medallions in New York.
Medallions in New York aren't. But everybody else's life is easier because of this. And what you guys are doing is pretty much spot on with that same type of plan, where you're making everybody's life easier, and you're getting dental care to people that probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't go to the dentist as much if I had to go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Now you guys come every 6 months. I get a cleaning every 6 months. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to be here anyways.
Sure.
But now I don't have to go and schedule it.
Yeah.
It's preventative as opposed to, I definitely have a cavity, I've been paying, I have to go to the dentist. I mean, that's kind of what most people probably do.
Sure.
Even if they have insurance. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, I've always gone to the dentist because I knew my hygienist pretty well.
Now you got a new hygienist.
She's mad now.
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's really convenience. And I think the more you guys scale and keep growing, I'm really excited to see where this all goes, because I can see dentists and hygienists calling up and saying, hey, listen, I'd rather work for you guys. Like, the culture's better. I mean, let's be honest. How much fun can it be to walk into the same dentist office for 20 years in a row, as opposed to, hey, next week you're going to be at UMass. The week after you're going to be at Milestone. 2 days you're going to be at Ocean Spray, whatever it is. It's like, I feel like that would be more fun, more enjoyable of a job. You're meeting different people.
Yep.
And I'm more grateful after I have my teeth cleaned in the office than when I go to the dentist. I'm like, all right, yeah, great, pay my copay and just get me out of here. But now it's like, hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming in, guys. Like, so from the employee standpoint, from Floss time, they must love it. Like,
yeah. And that's, once we're at the point where we're going to really start hiring here, I think it's going to be an easier sale for us to be able to get new staff because of how we've built the culture. And similar to how Milestone's culture is, as far as being fun and engaging and hiring the right people and everyone being on board with the same mission, this is what we do with Floss Time. And I think it's going to be a lot easier because the dental industry right now is tough as far as staffing. COVID really messed everything up when you didn't have classes, 3 classes, 2 classes of hygienists that have not come out. And now it really truly affects the industry. And so when we reach out to people, we tell them, do your research on us, do your research on who you would like to work for an employer. And if you think that we fit that realm of what you're looking for, let's have a conversation, let's talk. And so that's how we've kept it. We don't go extremely hard on recruiting right now, but we are going to be pushing for that in the future. And I think it's going to be a lot easier of a sale for us because people see the culture, people see what we've built, they want to be a part of it. It's a new way to deliver dental care. And just like you said, you have people that go into the office. It's not for everyone. It's not for every hygienist. It's not for every doctor. It's not for every person that works for something, a model like this. But I do think if you're the type of person who likes doing new things and change and not going to the same spot, like you said, every single day, then this is the job for you. And if it's not, we'll be clear about that in our interviews and everything. And usually in the first minute to 2 minutes of talking with someone, I know whether we're going to hire them or not. It's just how outgoing you are. And that's the type of model that we really try to strive for, because you want patients to be engaged. You want employees to be educated when they're in the chair and say, just like you were talking about earlier, preventative care. If I stay on my preventative care, I might not need to have fillings in the future. And so this is a great way for employees to be able to do that and have their own hygienist start to develop relationships with them. Crystal will be back with us here, and it just makes it a predictable experience. And I think that's what people want nowadays, is predictability. Like, hey, I know they're coming back to the office. This is who I'm seeing, and this is the type of culture that they're bringing to our office. And I think that's really a hot topic right now, is culture in the workplace and people being different, doing different things to stand out. Because in a post-COVID era, the industry has changed fundamentally. Every industry. It doesn't matter whether it could be insurance, it could be dental, it could be mortgages, it could be anything. I'm sure that you have seen your own change with Milestone and how you've had to kind of shift. And so I think that's kind of given a boost of the shifting part in being able to really differentiate companies. And you have companies who are good companies, and then you have companies who are great companies that make the leap from good to great. I don't know if you've ever seen that book or not, but it's a great book. So, it just highlights how you have to be creative in this industry now in a post-COVID era, especially with dealing with employees who work from home. Some are remote, some are in the office a couple days. And so it's harder for HR personnel to be able to manage that. How do I keep all of my employees engaged and not just the ones that are in the office? And so programs like this are a great way to be able to re-engage those employees. Hey, you're coming back to the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're doing wellness weeks. We're doing on-site dental care. We're doing eye exams. We're doing massages. We're doing chiropractor. So everything under the sun you could have and be able to bring on site for this. And I think in probably the next year, you'll start to see a lot more on-site engagement for companies in their culture for their employees. Because I truly think beforehand, I always used to think that money was the most important part for everything. And I worked for a job when I was out of college making $130,000 as a 22-year-old, good money, but I was miserable. I hated the job. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And so it's a good learning lesson for me, especially, to be able to say that money is not everything. And I'm glad that I did learn that 10 years ago when I was 22. And now, I've kind of stuck with that it's not always about money. And people are looking for employees that are looking for places to work. They're looking for more than just a monetary number on them. They want to be part of a team. They want to be part of a culture. They want to be part of an organization that they can grow with for the long term. And I think that's what people are really looking for. And I truly think that the companies that realize that are going to be the companies that are going to be the most successful in their industry, because they're engaging their employees who aren't just coming to work for one day and saying, oh, you're at a desk job and you're doing this from 9 to 5. You're there, you're talking with your employees, you're being engaged, you're doing programs, you're doing after work stuff, everything in between. And so I think the culture part of this is where companies are going to really start in a post-COVID era focusing on that. And we've seen that already. And I think that's part of why we've had a lot of success, because we try to, similar conversation to what I'm having with you now, we bring that to the HR. Like we have these same conversations where it's if you want your company to be what you want it to be, start with us. This is a great way to get people engaged at your company, great way to get programs going, and watch the growth and watch the employee growth.
It's a no-brainer for a company to do something like this because, one, like you're saying, it helps kind of build that team and build that camaraderie, and also, okay, well now my company does a wellness thing every 6 months. I get my teeth cleaned, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever pieces of that you put in there. Well, now it's maybe not as easy to leave because all that stuff's already set up.
Sure.
Am I going to leave? This is fun. I have a good time here. All this stuff's set up. I already have all these things in place. Am I going to leave for an extra 25 cents an hour because now I got to go and change all this stuff? And then also for a company, it doesn't cost them anything to do any of these things, to have this stuff in place. If anything, in my opinion, it saves companies money because instead of me taking time out of my day for 2 hours or 3 hours to go to the dentist, I'm here, I lost 45 minutes, not 3 hours.
Sure.
Because you can't go to the dentist before work or after work.
Yeah.
Or you can't do some of these things. You have to take time off. People have time that they can take. They have sick time, whatever. You're going to burn that stuff up. So now you're going to lose more man hours per day, every single day. If you had a massive company and you had 100 people and they all left for 3 hours versus they all left for 45 minutes.
Sure.
It's a lot more production that you're going to get.
And that's what we, as far as the HR side of things and utilization and employee engagement, we always try to tell those HR people and personnel and say, hey, listen, like, don't you think your employees should use their PTO the way they want to use them and not going to the dental office or not getting their eye care done, driving there, waiting in traffic, paying for parking, waiting in line, having to drive all the way home after? Like, it's just not, we're trying to create, just like you said earlier, disrupt the dental industry here. And this is what we're planning to do for that. But we try to make it employee engaged towards the employee and show these companies that, just like you said, you'd rather have burned 45 minutes than 3 hours. And it just becomes, once you realize that and you start to see the value in little wins like that for companies, it really makes a difference. And I do think that a lot of these companies will start to realize this in the next 6 to 12 months more than they already are now. But I do think that the industry is going to change for the better as far as employee engagement and culture and what people look for.
About eye care. Can we get that in here too? Somebody start that up.
Yeah, we work with 2020 on site as well. So they bring like their bus down and they do on site exams and such. And so what we're trying to do in the future is basically create wellness weeks for employers where we work with 2020, we work with CVS or Walgreens, and for flu shots and such. So we're going to start putting together wellness weeks where, hey, this is what we do, this is our network, and this is who we can bring in, and just make it easy and do it all in one week. Get the hype, get spouses, children, everyone that wants to get their wellness taken care of, as long as it's okay with the company, we're happy to see them as well.
Maybe a physician to do an annual. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
good.
I know it sounds crazy, like the convenience of this from an employee standpoint for me is amazing. Like I wish, like if you guys did that week, that'd be the best week. So you just have your eyes checked, physical done, dental work.
You can do everything in 3 hours versus
Spread
minimum of over. Probably 3 hours is probably low.
And listen,
if you have to leave, go wait.
Oh.
Now you're waiting in an office for 30 minutes to just get called.
Yep.
Then you're waiting another 30 minutes in the room for the doctor to come. With you guys, your appointment's here. You walk in the door, you're in, and you're out.
Yeah.
How many times? And I'm gonna get myself in trouble for saying this. I look at my watch. I look at my schedule. I'm like, not going to the dentist today. Like something's come up, and it's
all the time.
super more like it's more important. On site, I already know. Like, what am I gonna do? Walk by the office and be like, not feeling well, guys. Cancel that. I'm gonna do my office work. And like, from that standpoint, you just don't think of it. I look at my schedule, every Sunday night, and I'm like, all right, worst case scenario, this happens. This is where I can cut time.
Sure.
This is the appointment that I'm gonna miss. This on-site thing. I mean, I don't think we had one person miss their appointment.
No.
Right? I mean,
no.
And if they were busy, Craig was busy. somebody
Switch
jumps
with
in somebody
someone
else's
else's time.
time. Switch
Yep.
it out. It's
You don't have that kind of flexibility when you have
Yeah.
an appointment. I cancel appointments all the time. I book them 3 months, 6 months out, and that day comes,
You
shit
get
popped up.
you get fees?
I don't have.
Do they give you fees?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still get one from this acupuncturist. All the time. $50 because I didn't show
Yeah.
up to the last appointment. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what am I gonna do?
And I think that's that's where the small details matter, and that's where we try to go above and beyond to help. If an employee has a cancellation, like we've run into it frequently. I mean, it's just people have meetings that pop up when we're on site and such, and we just say, hey, can you try to switch with someone else? And 80 to 90% of the time, they can usually fill the appointment. So it just
It's a lot
becomes
easier to do that when you're all in the same office.
Yeah, but when they call the office, like,
You
we're not
can't
making
do
it
that.
in, or they just no show. You can't really do that.
Well, that's the thing is now you're talking about utilization. You're talking about hours of having to either pay your hygienist or make them clock out, which hygienists in that case don't like to do. We are always fair about it. If there's an appointment and it was booked and it's the same day, we still pay the hygienist. We're not going to be playing ticky-tack stuff like this about nickel and diamond people. You're there, you're committed, you get
I've seen
paid.
a ton of hygienists pay stubs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I work 40 hours a week," and you get all the pay stubs. And you're like, "You never work for?" Oh well, if there's no patient, they just come. We leave early. I'm like, it's very hard to now qualify for a mortgage. One, but two, like, how do you rely on? Like, you don't know. You're at the mercy of if they have appointments or if they don't have appointments.
Well, they just forget.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to forget when he's wheeling in all the equipment, chairs, and everybody in the
lot easier
office.
to make
Everybody in
it,
the office
yeah.
is happy. Like, I mean, you guys did some teeth whitening
Yeah.
for us, and
Yeah,
we'll
everyone
walk
was
around.
having a contest on who's wore the whitest. I won.
I was going to say, I think I remember you having pretty white, and they're still pretty white, so
I drink a lot of coffee, so I probably need to get another one in this next year. But
we'll be back, so.
do it again.
And that's the other piece. Is like, I already know a week after you leave, when the next time you're coming,
Yeah,
the office puts it out as the company. It's in our calendar.
sure.
So now you're not double booking it because you don't want to be that employee who doesn't show up.
Sure.
You know you're not coming for another 6 months.
Sure.
Right. So that's the day. It's like if I miss that.
Well, we try to make it predictable,
Yeah.
right? So when you come out of the chair as a patient, we're going to say, Vern, you're going to be coming, we're coming back in 4 to 6 months from now. Would you like to book your next appointment? And you get the patients booked right there. It's a predictable way of doing dental care. They know when they're coming back. They know when their appointment is. They're aligned. They can ask questions in person, just like a regular dental office. And so it just makes it a predictable experience. And it makes it, once we get into the chair and we get into the education, we try to make it fun. We play the music. We play the Netflix. We're working on some other little things here that we're doing in chair as far as other cool things like pillows and your own headphones and such. So we're working on making it a more of like a spa-like experience and not going to the dental office as far as the preventative care, fillings
Walk into a
and
dentist office and just the smell hits you, and you're like, not the most enjoyable place in the world to hang out.
well, and it's loud. People are scared. They see the instruments and they get scared naturally.
crying.
It's what you see in so it's like what you see in movies. You see the stuff on the table and you're just like, oh man,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
scared.
what am I doing
But
on this?
we try to just make it fun and enjoyable and like you're just taking care of yourself, and that's what it is.
Mike, we really appreciate you coming on Mortgage Daddies.
Yeah.
We wish you
Thank
continued
you.
success. Keep scaling this thing out.
It'll be
Disrupt
fun to
the
watch
market.
it grow.
I mean, that's all I can think about is just Uber for the dentist business.
That's what we're doing.
Get
So,
out there, keep getting at it, and keep us in the loop on
Yeah.
Derek White and the
Definitely will.
Boston Celtics. Hopefully, we have another championship year coming up.
I hope so.
For all of us.
So, well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
So,
man.
See you guys
thank you.
next time.